So one of the things I've noticed in business over the last 20 years is that when people find success and they start becoming successful, they stop being grateful. And they stop being grateful for the success they had. Recently I had somebody reach out to me and they were complaining about some loss of business that they've had recently. And overall, if you look at the whole scheme of it, the business is really successful right now. But they were hyper-focused on just that one area that was failing, or that they were losing a customer, or they were frustrated with. And they stopped being grateful for the 99 other part of the business that's succeeding still. And sometimes we can rob our own success because we become so hyper-focused on the one area that's not working. Sometimes that translates over not only just in success, but it translates over into people as well, where we stop being grateful for people being successful with us, for delivering for us. We start to take them for granted, right? I find that happens in as an overall company. I find that happens sometimes departmentally, where we stop being grateful for a department or somebody leading an department that's creating success. And then also I find that happens with entrepreneurs individually, where they stop being grateful for the people around them, their loved ones that supported them through that time of struggle and then into success. And we just start taking it for granted. As we approach this season of Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving's about that time of the year where we should be grounded in what we're grateful for and what we're thankful for. And I love Thanksgiving for that reason. I don't think people give it enough credibility in the fact that Thanksgiving is a time of year that we come together, and we're supposed to come together to be grateful for what we have, what the last year has brought us. Be grateful for the influences that were in our lives, the people that are there to support us today and help us be who we are. Gratitude is one of those things that when we don't have it, entitlement comes in. We start to feel entitled to what we have. We start to feel entitled to the loved ones in our life, entitled to the success we're having, entitled to our employees performing every day. And when they don't, how dare they? How dare they have what I've given them, what I've given the people in my life? How dare they not be grateful for me or be grateful for, the entitlement, gratitude's still there, but it turns very outward looking back, right? Like, why am I not being given gratitude? Why aren't people happy with what I've given them? Instead of being grateful for them, grateful for the success, grateful for what we've been given or what we've been able to do in life, we start to feel entitled to still get it. And employees get that way as well. We have success or we give them a job and the entitlement comes in. I think the world's kind of filled with this entitlement bug right now. And I think the only way to counter that is for gratitude to show up. One of the things we do in our weekly meetings with our teams, and anytime we meet with a client, the very first thing I ask them to do is tell me something you're grateful for. I remember when the kids were growing up, Susan would sit around the kitchen table, and before anybody was allowed to say anything, they had to say 3 things that happened that were a positive thing from that day. You weren't allowed to talk about anything else before you gave 3 things that you were positive about or something you were grateful for in that day. And if it was insincere, she would say, keep going until you find sincerity in it. Keep going. Why do we do that? We do that because gratitude gives way to entitlement. Entitlement gives way to silos in a business, right? We start getting bitter. We start pulling back from everybody, and we start going, well, if they're not going to give me what I want and I deserve, then I'm just going to take care of me, right? That entitlement gives way to that, the silos, bitterness, and then what happens from there is complacency starts to set in, and the complacency becomes a cancer to your company, cancer to your relationship. It starts to destroy you, right? And that complacency is a really dangerous thing. You see a lot of books written about complacency. But there's a remedy to complacency, and it's before it ever comes in, and it's being grateful. And so as we come into this new season of Thanksgiving, I think it's important that we institute in the next 12 months of our lives and our businesses, like institute something that requires people to be openly communicative in their area of gratitude.